Well, normally our winter menu is full of a lot of simple meals, a lot of one-pot meals, nutritious, delicious, all the things. And I'm going to share more of that with you later this week. But today we are starting off with a banger. We're doing the storm, as we affectionately call it. So unfortunately, my brother is planning to leave here in 2 days. This is my brother Ty, for those of you that haven't met him before. And him and I love spending time in the kitchen together. We're not like official trained chefs or anything, but we love playing with food. And so this whole time he's been here, we've been talking about, hey, we need to cook up a storm. And so that's the plan here for today. We have a 5-course meal plan. So we're going to start off really strong. And then over the next few days, you'll see a little bit more of a realistic look at what we actually normally eat through the winter. Starting off here with a bunch of apples, because for our beverage, we wanted to do, Ty, do you call it an apple cider or just like a... We very much play things by ear when we cook, but we're starting off with juicing the apples. So we'll have apple juice. We do know we want to infuse it with mint, so we'll let a bunch of fresh mint leaves just kind of marinate in there the next couple of hours. And then possibly we'll be adding some spices, who knows what all. So let's start with juicing these and then we'll take it from there. I'm going to add in just a couple of oranges to kind of help brighten it up, and then also to help our apple juice from turning brown. In the meantime, Ty here is working on our mushroom Duxelles, so these will be our appetizers. So Ty is just finishing up the mushroom Duxelles. Can you tell us what you put in? We did the shallots, the mushrooms, and then what, like, for seasonings?
There was garlic, and olive oil is technically a seasoning, and fresh thyme. And
all the fresh herbs. We literally went to the store and got like, what, 7 to 10 kinds of fresh herbs. So they're going to be in pretty much everything today.
Yes. And there's some sherry instead of the dry white wine, which is what's supposed to be in there.
Yeah, and I'll try to leave the recipe link down below. Okay.
And salt and pepper.
Nice.
So.
Can't wait. Okay. All right. So I have my apple juice here. I'm going to just throw in a handful of mint leaves, and then I'll actually move on to dessert prep. The very long-awaited vanilla candle launch is finally here. I am so excited to share this with you. If you've been around for any amount of time, you see, first of all, I'm usually burning these candles in almost all my videos, but my very favorite scent, as I've been saying for months and months, maybe even years by now, is vanilla. I just love those warm, cozy scents that feel like you just pulled something out of the oven. That's what vanilla embodies so well. And so this entire launch is based around vanilla. First up, we have vanilla sugar cookie. There's sandalwood vanilla, almond vanilla, raspberry vanilla, vanilla cake. Ooh, that one sounds so good. And vanilla spice latte. And oh my goodness. Oh wow, okay. I'll take 10 of these. I also love like coffee scents. It just feels so inviting when you step into someone's house and it smells like a coffee shop. I'm gonna, I think, immediately label this one as my very favorite. But honestly, all of these would probably make it into my top because they are that delicious vanilla scent. Antique Candle Company, if you are not familiar with them, is a clean candle company. Everything is poured right here in the US, and they have clean wick, clean wax, clean scent, all of it you can feel good about burning in your home, as I have been loving doing in ours. So these also, by the way, make amazing gifts, hostess gifts, birthday gifts. They gave me a very generous discount code. This golden hour 20 will give you 20% off your entire order. Plus, they also have bundles if you want to save even further on their website. Orders over $85 ship free, and everything. This whole collection, as well as any candles on their website, are backed by their happiness guarantee, which basically means if you order a candle, you're not completely happy with the scent, they will make that right with you, and they're super easy to work with, have amazing customer service. This entire collection is available in the 16, so full ounce jar, and I am so excited to hear what you are stocking up. I know a lot of you are also loving these vanilla scents, so this is just such an exciting launch, and I hope you take advantage of it. This is the prime rib. It looks amazing. Ty put a bunch of veggies in there. Of course, it's herb crusted. So Ty came out here this morning at like 7 o'clock and got this going, but now he just added bone broth, some more like salt, pepper,
and Worcestershire, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
And just what was left over of the mustard
mayo thing. Okay,
mayo
awesome.
mix, which
Cannot
is in the
wait on this. We had this prime rib in the freezer for a while, so it'll be exciting to finally dive in. Well, I'm bummed that our mint leaves, actually the fresh ones, had gone bad, so I'm just gonna take some of these. These are freeze-dried mint leaves, and we're gonna add that, give it a good stir, and hopefully we can still get some of that flavor. So for dessert here, we want to do a crepe cake. Made a bunch of chocolate crepes. These are with fresh milled flour. A couple days ago now, actually 2 days ago or so. Anyways, as well as a bunch of pistachio cream. This has been a favorite around here for sure. We had this for Christmas and we were thinking, what do we want to put in this crepe cake? Kind of as the glue to hold everything together, and hands down fell for pistachio cream again. So I will leave that recipe for you in the description box as well. And then we want to serve this with some peanut butter chocolate fudge ripple homemade ice cream. So hopefully everything turns out. To start, I'm gonna just fold the crepes in half like this, and then we are gonna, actually I think for the center, you're supposed to take a couple of them and fold them in half, and then we'll just roll everything together. It makes it, well, it's supposed to make it look kind of like a rose on the tray here, but then when you cut into it, it's supposed to have these beautiful layers. So hopefully that is actually what the end result looks like. This is what we're looking like so far. So you can start to see the beginning there of a little rosette. And I'm just gonna keep going with that of wrapping around and around and around. Okay, as the rose is growing, I'm gonna set it on a plate now, and then I'm actually just taking these and folding them around like this, because after a bit here, we wanna start folding the edges down a little bit to give it that like open rose shape. Okay, very much learning as I go here. I'd say we have a pretty decent rose shape, but what I should have thought of is to keep the cream more on the inside so that you can't see it on the outer leaves, because I feel like it looks a little messy right now because you can see all those little smudges. I did go in and try to kind of smooth it out with a butter knife, but it's not as clean cut as I had envisioned. So I'm gonna take some cocoa powder. We'll dust it over that. Obviously we're slicing it to serve, but I want it to look as nice on the plate as we can, since the whole point of doing a rose cake was to have it look nice on the plate. So we'll dust it. Hopefully that makes it better and not worse. Okay, I was not quite ready to give up yet. So tell me, does it look better? I hope so. There's no going back now. But I had a bunch of leftover crepes, so I took them and cut the edges off of all of them and stuck them in to help hide our filling. Definitely something to remember for next time. I think I'm still gonna dust it with some cocoa powder to just kind of help everything look a little bit more cohesive, but I do think it looks at least a little less messy than it did before. All hands on deck here. Hudson is making some Parmesan crisps to put on top of the mushroom Duxelles. And then Kyra is doing fudge sauce there for our peanut butter ice cream. And Leslie is peeling sweet potatoes for our sweet potato fondant. Working on an herb butter here. This is supposed to go on the prime rib, and we want to do it a little bit in advance. This is what it looks like so that we can put it in the fridge to chill so that we can get nice slices of it when we're ready to serve. Sweet potato fondants are going over here. So unfortunately, I don't have a ton of different sizes of plates. I did finally just order some because I'm tired of constantly needing them when I have company. But I pulled some different just like patterns of plates and things. Since we're doing 5 courses, I pulled 5 different like stacks of plates. I'm not sure if we'll end up re-washing some of these. A couple of the piles are a little bit mix and match, which can be fun. For this, I wish they were all the same. But we are gonna start plating our mushroom Duxelles, and I'm not entirely sure how we're gonna do that. I have some creme fraiche here, and then we have the mushrooms that Ty was working on. We want these to be in a nice mold. I wish I had my big ice cream scooper for this. It broke, unfortunately, so I'm gonna try to keep a mold with this. We'll see how this turns out, but that's gonna be course number 1. To plate the mushroom Duxelles, I'm starting with a little bit of rosemary infused oil on the bottom. Just gonna try to make a nice round circle of that. And then I'm packing my mushroom mixture into a cup. This is a 1/3 cup measuring cup, by the way. And then we'll try to gracefully set that in there. A couple of them did come off like this, but it actually works pretty well just to patch it up like that. All right, and then I'm gonna come in with my creme fraiche and make a circle around it, and then I'm doing 3 little dots on opposite sides, and then the outer circle I want to connect kind of loosely. All right, we have some fresh chopped chives here. Just a light little sprinkle of those. Something with plating for fine dining is you want everything to look really exact and neat. So any little specks that fall in areas outside of your perimeter. So right now for me, it's this gold rim. I want to keep everything on the inside. So if anything falls up here, I want to make sure to wipe that clean. But next I'm going to come in with some sea salt flakes and we'll sprinkle that on. Mainly that will just give it some good texture. Make sure again that we have a clean rim. Okay, and then I'm gonna come on with one of these Parmesan crisps and top it with a couple little sprigs of microgreens. That is what we're doing here now, times 8. Okay, our second course is gonna be this creamy soup. We wanted to make it a fun color, so it's actually beet soup. And what we did is just combined milk with freeze-dried beets, some ham, a bunch of dill, and I think that's it. So we're gonna dish that out, top it with some dill, and again, some more of this creme fraiche. finishing up our main course here, Ty is just torching our herb butter on the prime rib, and then we of course have the 2 sweet potatoes. We put those on a bed of microgreens, and then right here is the almond cream, and we also did top the potatoes with some rosemary oil and a little bit of salt and pepper. Now the part that I'm a little bit nervous about, cutting the cake. So this is our 5th and final course. It looks fine as it is, but obviously we'll have to cut it to eat it, and I don't know if we'll have nice layers or if the whole thing is gonna fall apart. So guess we'll see. Well, that was a lot of fun yesterday, but now we're gonna scale back a little bit to the way that we normally eat around here, which is a lot of one-pot meals. I try to be mindful of how long I'm gonna be spending doing dishes if it's just in the day today, and then also eating the colors of the rainbow and focusing on a lot of protein. So we're gonna do one of my very favorites here, which is protein bowls, power bowls, salad bowls, rice bowls. There's so many names for them. I just pulled kind of what veggies I have. I know, and these are carrots from our garden, right? Did you help grow these? So we're gonna slice and dice all of this up. I do wish I had some more lettuce. I have a little bit of arugula that we can use up, and then spinach. So spinach is actually better for you if it is first lightly steamed. But I'm just gonna chop it up here for today. Then we have some purple cabbage, some tomatoes, avocados. I have some different little microgreens here. I really like growing these in the winter, and I can leave it linked for you down below. It's almost like a tiny little mini greenhouse. It waters it on its own, and it has a light, so they grow really quickly. Usually it's about a week until I can start cutting them. And then I also whipped up a little bit of pesto with some basil that we had in the fridge, and then some feta, and then of course the carrots. And Kyra back here is actually starting on cooking the sausage. So, and then I also have some rice going in the Instant Pot here. So we'll try to have this ready to eat in 15 minutes or so. Well, we're busy getting ready for our homeschool co-op here this morning. We've started a new thing where the kids are making seasonal snacks for the co-op. So right now, instead of the moms contributing snack, the kids are having so much fun with coming up. We're alternating boys doing drinks, girls doing snacks. And so the girls here are making some sourdough Cheez-Its. Hudson is gonna make some hot chocolate with his friend, and we're gearing up for a really fun time. But before that happens, I wanted to throw together some bagel sandwiches for lunch. These I made the other day, and they need to be used up, so I thought we would make some egg sandwiches. These would also be delicious for breakfast, but we're gonna do them for lunch today. So I'm gonna start off, I think we'll toast these just on the stove here, and then I'll cook some ham, and we will also add an egg and just kind of put together a delicious sandwich here. I have some leftover of our herb butter here, so I'm gonna put that on the bagels and then toast them in that. I'm gonna fry 4 eggs here, keeping the yolks runny so that our sandwiches don't end up being too dry. Okay, just getting ready here to assemble our bagels. The first thing I'm gonna put on is actually called cup cheese. This is an Amish thing that my Amish neighbor taught me years ago, but it's actually made out of cottage cheese, and it got a little bit thin this time, so maybe I can show you how I make it here sometime when hopefully it's a little bit thicker. Ideally, it's supposed to be the consistency almost of Cheese Whiz that you can spread on bread, and it's delicious, but this is a little bit more runny, so I'm gonna put it on the bottom of my bagel, and then that way it doesn't run down over everything and make it super messy. I thought I had some avocado. Unfortunately, they have gone bad. I have like maybe a quarter of one here that I'll put on one. And then we have the ham, and I'll also put some microgreens, and then of course the egg on. And then it'll be time to eat because our co-op is to start in 45 minutes. I love adding seasonal produce as much as possible, and citrus feels like a very winter one. So we're gonna add a little bit of grapefruit and oranges to go with the sandwiches. Something I have learned through this whole gut healing journey is how beneficial, especially a lot of warming foods are, fermented foods, that kind of thing. I absolutely love a good loaded salad. It's one of my favorite meals ever, but I found that that's not always the most beneficial when you are trying to heal your gut. So I will still definitely enjoy my salads, as you've already seen, but I have also been really trying to focus on warming foods, like a lot of bone broth, still doing my bone broth hot chocolate, a lot of soups, and that is also really conducive to this cold time of year. So today I am making a cabbage soup here. I actually will put sauerkraut in this soup if I have some on hand. I just emptied mine, so I need to get the next batch going. So I'm just gonna cook a raw cabbage today, but I love the little bit of tangy flavor that adding actual sauerkraut gives it. First up here, I am just cutting up some onion. We're gonna brown some ground beef before we add the veggies. I'm going to add a small handful here of garlic cloves, and then we'll add the ground beef. I'm gonna add some seasonings to my soup now. This is some salt, I'm gonna do some pepper, and I'll probably add some more seasonings a little bit later. I don't have a recipe for this soup, but basically What I base most of my soups off is I usually start with onion and garlic, saute that, add some kind of meat, add broth. If I want more of a creamy soup, I'll just do enough broth to cook the vegetables in. If I want more of a brothy soup, I'm gonna add a decent amount of broth. Then we'll cook the veggies in it, and then I like to add the rest of the seasonings after that. That's just kind of the formula I follow, if you will, for pretty much any time that I make soup. So that's what we're gonna do here today as well. Okay, let me grab my broth. You can hear me above the sound of my mixer. I'm just making some butter there to go with the bread that I thought we would eat with the soup. And then I also have some lemons here. I love to squeeze a little bit of fresh lemon juice on top of the soup as well. It gives it that nice fresh taste. And then sometimes I'll also serve this with cheese, just because there is meat in the soup for sure, but there's no like potatoes or pasta or anything like that. So it helps give it a little bit more bulk for our hardworking husband and hungry kids. Okay, lunch is ready. Well, I know that was just a very small peek into what was on our menu this week, but I hope it gave you some inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden days.